I really appreciate you guys allowing me to be here today. I love talking to people, especially talking to kids, man. So any questions you guys have for me, I'd love to answer whatever. A little bit about me. He pretty much gave a lot of the good information, but I'm originally from Long Beach, California, born and raised. Went to Prairie View A&M, obviously for 2 years. Played receiver all 4 years. Played receiver there my first 3 years. My last year was defensive end. That's a great story. Drafted by the Raiders, obviously. I went to Super Bowl in 2020, Tampa Bay. Played with Tom Brady. I know you guys know who that is. So that was awesome. 2 years with the Falcons, with the Eagles for a little bit. Then going on my third season with Miami Dolphins, man. So it's been a roller coaster of a career, but I'm super excited, super blessed where I'm at today. So yeah, any questions you guys have for me, I would love to answer whatever. We'll start.
Hey, just before you guys ask the question, Quinton's going to pick on you. You're going to stand up. You're going to say your name and affiliation. Jeremy Treatment Sports Broadcasting Camp, Jeremy Treatment Sporting News, Quinton, and then just ask your question. Don't say I have a question. Just say the question.
I'll start over here.
Noah Panther, Ransom Everglades. You've played for 2 defensive coordinators at your time with the Dolphins, Vic Fangio and Anthony Weaver. Vic Fangio obviously went on to win a Super Bowl this year with the Eagles. How do you think his coaching style differs from Coach Weaver? And what do you think Coach Weaver is going to do in the future as an NFL head coach or as a defensive coordinator?
That's an awesome question. I would say just the main difference between those two is when you play for a former player, Coach Lee played in the NFL for 7 years. And so I think there's just a different kind of connection that you have with the coach when you know that he's kind of gone through the same ups and downs, mental ups and downs that you go through as a player. It's a different kind of connection. I think that he just connects with us in that way, different from what so I would say that's the main difference. I think that throughout Weave's career, he always had that kind of connection with players that he kind of really knows and understands what we go through, what goes through our mind each and every day. So I would say that's the biggest difference.
As 3-4 outside backer, do you want them to drop you more into coverage this year, or do you want to really propel your skills off the edge?
I do it all. I'm kind of a Swiss Army knife. I feel like I succeed in all of the areas that we do, percussion, setting, and coverage. So I really wouldn't ask for more one or the other. I like to do it. So.
Blake Biederman, hi Quinton, I'm a huge fan of you. You were in the building with Tom Brady during his first year with the Bucs. What was that like?
Oh man, that was an amazing year. Obviously Tom's a legend. I felt that when he got to the team, everyone wanted to be better. I feel like he had so many Super Bowls before that year. So I think people just respected him in that way. I respected him in that way, just knowing like, hey, this guy's here to win. So we all got to come with it. And, it's time to win now. So I would say his aura in the building just kind of made everybody just better. And everybody won.
Yeah. And also, you were drafted in the 7th round in 2019. What kept you motivated during your ups and downs?
Oh man, just believing in myself. I tell especially young guys, we got something all the time. Like I've been through the worst in the league and the best of the best. And I think that just never forgetting, believing in yourself and believing in what you can do. A lot of people will tell you can't, but as long as you know what you're capable of and you work towards that day in, day out, you will be all right.
What's your pregame song?
Pre-game song? My favorite song pre-game is March Madness by Future.
Yeah.
Let's just do one question, guys. Just one question.
Calling to Donato Sports Broadcasting Camp. What's the biggest difference from playing at the collegiate level to going to the NFL?
Good question. I would say it's a couple things. I would say one thing is everyone in the pros is even with some people on the internet would call the worst guy on the team, he's a pro. So you have to realize that no matter if he's the first string guy, second string, third string, practice squad, whatever he is, he's a pro. So regardless of who you're going against, you got to bring everything. Everybody on every team is good. All 32 teams are good teams. And I would say the second thing would be the scheme, plays. Everything's a lot more complex. So I would say that.
Thank you so much.
So,
Tony Magnata from Tampa, huge fan of you. And what made you switch from wide receiver to defensive end? What kind of sparked that? And what work have you put into it?
Yeah, well, so my last year of college is my senior year. We got a whole new coaching staff, head coach the year before I left. So a lot of new coaches came in. He brought some new receivers in. I kind of really didn't do much at receiver my first 3 years there. Then I get a call one day from the defense coordinator and the D-line coach at our school, and they kind of brought the idea up. And at first, it kind of sounded crazy to me because I was a receiver. I had to play defense since high school. That had been 3 years. But they started talking about opportunities to play in NFL, and that's ultimately what my goal was. And so so I felt like I really didn't have anything to lose, and I just pulled the trigger and did it. And I think that's probably one of not the best decisions I've ever made in my life. So,
Thank you. Appreciate it.
so my God, yes, sir.
Dylan Sate, SPC. You obviously have a great career, but what was it like going from the FCS level to the NFL straight jump without playing FBS?
It was, it's level competition. Like I said, it's like you in the FCS, it's usually like on teams, one or two, maybe 3 or 4 guys are really good on that team to get to NFL and everything. And I think that when you come from an FCS school, a lot of people try to count you out. That we're not big D1, we're not Big 12, SEC, so they don't think you're that good. They kind of count you out, and so it's more of a like I have to prove myself because everyone here thinks I'm not as good as the next guy. So I would just say, yeah, a big chip on your shoulder for my team.
And what are your thoughts on Mike McDaniel?
That's just one question, right? One question.
Well, I love Mike. I love him. He's my favorite coach
Bumble.
That was me.
Quinton Sate, SBC Sports Broadcasting Camp. You obviously had 16 solo tackles, 11 tackles. What do you look? You obviously had a great year. What are you looking to follow up this next season?
Yeah. Wow. Great question. I would say picking up where I left off. I get to have my second year in the same defensive system, so that's always a plus for me. Learning now the defense, I feel like I really understand it. I understand it well last year, but I really understand it better now. So I feel like I'll be able to just play even faster than I did last year, make more plays. Hopefully I can double that tackle amount this year. That's my goal, at least double it. And get more sacks as well. I didn't really get a ton of rush opportunities last year, but I plan on getting more this season, so I can get a lot more sacks.
Thank you.
Easton Eisinger, Sports Broadcasting Camp. Do you think if you were defensive end for your whole career, do you think that would have changed your outcome in the NFL?
As far as like college career?
Like your whole life, you were defensive.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the main thing it would have changed was where I started. So I think that if I played, I got drafted in the 7th round from a small school off 1 year. I think if I played 4 years or played high school and 4 years, I think who knows what I would have drafted if I could do it that way. So yeah, I think the main thing is I probably would have started maybe a higher draft pick or so, something like that.
So what's the reason for what's your favorite number and why?
My favorite number, I would say I have 2 favorite numbers. My first number that I got was number 8 in high school. I wore that in high school. I wore it also in college. So that was a number that stuck with me. Not for any particular reason. I was a Kobe fan growing up as well. So, Kobe wore number 8. And then now I would say my favorite number is 56. 56 was my number now because I was given that number when I got to Atlanta Falcons. And I made my first 53-man roster. I'm not sure if you guys know. You guys should know, actually. 53-man roster. You got to make the team in the NFL. So I made my first 53 I made was with 56. And I got the most playing time that year. And I feel like I kind of molded into the player that I've become in the league now with that number. So I just stick with that number because I feel like 56 is just embodies who I am. So that's why I would say 56 is my favorite number.
Connor Esri, play-by-play again. What teams are you worried about this year now that the bracket's over? And if you aren't worried about any teams, what teams were you worried about in your past season?
To be honest, I'm worried about all of them. Like I said, every team in the NFL is good. Obviously, we have your rivalries, like we have the Bills that we really want to beat. All of our division opponents that we really want to beat. But at the end of the day, we have to try to win every game. And so I would say that I'm not particularly worried about one team more than the other. I personally attack every week like it's Super Bowl, and that's how I play. So that's what I would say.
Listen, training SBC. Obviously, with you being teammates with Tyreek Hill and everything that's coming out, him wanting to chase the money and going to every team. How is it like having someone with that big an impact on the locker room and as a bit of a role model, having like a cancer in the locker room like that?
Well, I wouldn't say Reese is cancer at all. I love Reese. Reese is a great guy. He's actually right next to me a lot. We talk probably more this offseason than we ever have. I think Reek is a great leader, and I think that this year is going to prove to a lot of people that he can be even better leader. He's going to have another breakout year. He's super shout out to Reed. I love it. Let's go in the back. Tampa's jersey at number 1.
How do you think that the Dolphins are gonna do this season?
I think we're gonna do great. I think we had a rough year last year, dealt with some injuries, things like that. But I think that this year will be a much improvement from last year. I got in the back of the white hat. You know, you right? Pink, yeah, pink shirt.
How is the I'm Carter at the broadcast camp, and how's the creative process like?
It is it's interesting. So I was on the Dolphins obviously last season, and then I became a free agent. So it's kind of I wasn't really too stressed because I had a pretty good year, you know. So I knew that I would be somewhere, didn't know where. I wanted to be in Miami. So I would say it can be worse. It can be good or bad depending on like the year you had before, depending on if you want to be somewhere and maybe that team doesn't want you. I had interest from a couple of teams, but once the Dolphins kind of made an offer, you know, it's kind of where I wanted to be. So I would say it can be a roller coaster a little bit. Right next to them. Yeah.
What was your
Most difficult part. I would say the most difficult part of my career is understanding the business side of the NFL. I think that that's something that like you hear about it when you're coming out of college and things like that. You don't really understand it until you're kind of in it for a couple of years, and you realize that sometimes it may not be because you're not good enough. It may be it may be a money thing, or maybe a roster number. There's a lot of reasons why you might not be on the team. You might be released and things like that. So I think that's probably the biggest, probably the most challenging part to understand because there's not really a way to practice that. You kind of just get thrown into it. I understand that one.
Alex Fisher from the Sports Podcast. How did you adjust to the Miami culture from
As far as like the team culture?
Yeah.
Well, that's a good question. I would say so. I got here in 2023. The Dolphins had a pretty good year, 2023. When I got here in the middle of the season. That's a really good question. I would say just kind of following the leaders. You get to a new team and you figure out who the leaders are, and listen to the coaches, and you kind of fall in line from there. I feel like the Miami culture. Miami is a great place to be. Beautiful facilities. Hard Rock's amazing. So I would say it was definitely an easy adjustment for me, just because I feel like everyone that's here really wants to be here and they enjoy being involved. So yeah.
Who do you think? How do you think the chemistry is right now between the players on the Dolphins?
Probably the best it's ever been since I've been. I would say we're super close, offense and defense. We're close to the team. We ride together. We go through all the ups and downs together. We hold each other accountable. This is a huge thing for us. So I would say probably in my 3 seasons here, it's probably the best it's ever been.
I spent an English sports broadcasting camp. Quinton, with you attending Prairie View A&M, what was it like attending Nations? Kind of the culture overall. What was it like attending Nations?
It was so much fun. Honestly, it was so much fun. I'm from California, so it was a bit of a culture shock for me. I had never been to Texas before I went there, and so it was a lot different from what I was used to. But I had a lot of fun. Just always something event going on, festivities, parties, fraternity, sorority stuff. I mean, you name it. Homecoming. I mean, it's a great time. I'm glad that I really went there, and they showed me into a different culture that I never had seen before. So I enjoyed my time.
Honestly, let's say Emma Swift Day. So obviously you've been in the NFL for 2 years now, and what are some aspects of being an NFL player that not everyone can come by?
For some benefits that we may have. Question. I would say well, as far as some benefits that we get. I mean, people, we have a lot of fans that be good fans of us. People like to give us a lot of free stuff. They want us to kind of advertise for them and things like that. Whether it's that surrounds us, clothing brand. I would say that's the main thing. Like a lot of people want to use us to advertise. You know, I think that's a great way. Like I love clothes, I love shoes, I love food. So you know, each chance I get to kind of be a brand ambassador for anybody, you know, that's the main thing. So I was that's a good thing. Yeah. Let's go. Blue hat, yeah.
What were your feelings first walking out of town on your first game day?
Like a rookie year, like first time ever. Wow. It was a bit of a shock, to be honest, especially my rookie. And I say that because I came from a smaller school, so you know we probably I don't know how many fans we have in the state. I don't even know, maybe like 10,000. You know, so I go from 10,000 to like NFL stadium huge. So first time for me was oh wow, I'm a pro now. You know, this is the show, this is the real deal. So it was a bit of a shock for me. Once you got on the field, you start playing. You know, everything's settled down.
Growing up, what player persuaded you to play football?
What player persuaded me to play football? Yeah. Actually, yeah, growing up, I used to be a receiver, obviously. My favorite player was Calvin Johnson. You guys know Calvin Johnson?
Yeah.
Megatron.
You got tapped in. He was my favorite player for majority of my career because I was a receiver. I was tall, tall, kind of bigger receiver. So that was something I feel like persuaded.
So, just in the SEC, obviously, NFL players, like, you have to put your body through a lot of conditioning, training, offseason. All that combined with the 100-degree weather in Miami, how do you really prepare yourself for game day? So, just are ready now.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. I would say, being in Miami, that's kind of our advantage. You know, so we get to practice in this heat every single day, and teams come here and not used to this heat. So I would say for me, I always tell guys like my two main things are hydration. You know, you can hydrate all you want, but if you're not sleeping, it's not going to help. You can sleep all you want, if you're not hydrated, like you feel hydrated out there. So for me, just staying hydrated the night before, hydrating all week, and making sure I get my 8 to 10 hours is my main preparation.
What brings you the most joy during the game?
Well, the most joy that I'll get during games is winning. There's nothing better than winning games. No matter if you play bad, you play good, winning always feels great. Obviously, making plays is the best. But really, I think one of the things I feel like is sometimes like seeing my family before the game, seeing them on the field. I have 2 kids, I have 2 sons. Seeing them on the field before the game, man, it gets me going. It reminds me why I do it. You know, it reminds me that I'm about to go out here and fight for my family. So I would say seeing my family before the game is probably one of my favorite parts. OKC, Detroit. Great question. My goal is Kobe, but LeBron James and Michael Jordan, LeBron is undisputed. It's not, at this point, it's not even close, in my opinion. So, yeah.
What was going through your mind when you got your first sack?
Oh, wow. What was going through my mind when I got my first sack? Probably like, oh my God, I got my first sack. Probably, I got a clean win off the edge, hit it with a cross chop. I got the ball out, forced fumble.
Who was that against?
The Rams. Matthew Stafford was my first sack. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, in 2 minutes, Monday Night Football. I'm from LA, so we were playing in LA. So it was a really cool moment for me.
Oh, I saw.
So far?
Yeah, my whole family was there. Yeah, honestly, it was like that's just my 6th year in the league, and so just going through what I've been through to finally get my first sack was like a surreal moment. It was probably one of the best I felt in football. Yeah. You're gonna take time. Let me come back to you. Okay.
How do you feel about the Dolphins drafting twin Ulos, the cornerbacks? That they should be focusing more on defense after Jalen Ramsey in the cornerback situation with the Dolphins.
Good question. I mean, Quinn is our names sound really similar. Every time they call his name, I get confused. But Quinn is really, I think he's gonna be really good. I feel like the offense he was in at Texas was kind of crazy, like the Dolphins offense is. We definitely drafted some defensive guys too. As far as the Jalen Ramsey situation, I mean that's above my pay grade. They're gonna handle that, But I think Quinn's gonna be really good for it.
Thank you.
Quick thing, if you've asked a question already, please do not raise your hand again. We have people who haven't asked yet, so those who haven't asked, keep it up.
Especially for professional athletes. How do you find the line between being really into dedicated to your craft and then knowing when to take a break and check out and go for yourself?
Great question. Yeah, I would say that's something that I kind of doubted with up until this last offseason. Our time is really consumed. We have long days. So for me, I just had to learn to really, when I get home, to decompress, to kind of set football aside. Having my kids really helps me. Like, kind of transition from linebacker to dad. As soon as I get home, they don't even ask about work. They're just like, let's play. So I have that. My fiance, she's been amazing in my life, just welcoming me back home and kind of leaving football at work for a little while before we talk about it. So I think that just really using your off days, getting out the house, doing things, activities. That's kind of how it's helped me kind of keep my mental health fit. So that's a great question. Great. Yeah, black shirt. Oh, 2 black shirts. Well, I'll give you that. Go ahead.
Who are you most excited to play with?
Play with or against? With. I would say I'm most excited to play with JP, with Jalen Phillips. He's had a tough last 2 years. Me and him have gotten really close. This year's offseason, we've become really good friends. I want to see him succeed. He got a tough last 2 years. So I can't wait for him to. Oh yeah, for sure. I'm a gamer. I love to game. I play 2K. So if anybody wants to lose in that, just let me know. I play Madden a little bit. I just started playing F1, the racing game. I'm having fun with that. I also build Lego cars. I just built like 2 Lego cars. So I've been having fun with that. What else? Whatever. I like to fish. Also, I started fishing a lot this offseason. I caught a 50-pound sailfish on my birthday. That was pretty cool. Yeah. So. Yeah, those are a couple of my hobbies, I would say. A celebrity lookalike? So lately I've been getting Saquon.
Yeah, I can see that.
I just said that.
Yeah. Say who? Johnu? I haven't gotten Johnu yet, but yeah, I've got Saquon a lot.
I can see
it. Have braids, I got my hair.
Guys, it is Saquon. Just let you know.
With Mike McDaniel in press conferences says emulated a more physical culture this year and shown in the draft. We've gotten Jonas Avidea, Neo Line, and power back Ollie Gordon. How do you feel that new culture has been coming into Miami compared to maybe the previous years?
Oh yeah, I mean, it's definitely been emphasized. It's off-season emphasized in practice. So I like this. I mean, we haven't even gone with that yet, but just from what I've seen in OTAs, the last couple of weeks of practice, we're definitely twice as physical as we were last year. It's showing, and obviously we've got the pieces to get it done. So that's definitely true.
Devin over Sports Broadcasting Camp. What motivated or inspired you to make the switch from off the offensive side of the ball to wide receiver to defensive side?
Yeah, so I had a coach. So we got a new coach at my senior year of college, and coaches called me up and wanted to kind of get the opportunity to play on the defensive side of the ball. I didn't really do much at receiver. So for me, it was more so. I didn't want to look back and wish that I took the opportunity. I was like, no,
Max Swing Sports Broadcast. With the AFC growing in strength this offseason, obviously the Bills seem to be Stephon Diggs for the Patriots, Justin Fields for the Jets. How do you think the Dolphins can keep up with that and respond to their friends?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think the main thing for us is to stay healthy. I think that we have all the pieces of growth to be with the best teams in the NFL, offensively, defensively, as well as special teams. I think that if we can just stay healthy as a team, continue to grow like we are, continue to grow during the season, I see us being able to, match with anybody. Honestly, so that's about what it is. I wouldn't say I always wanted to be a football player. I used to do a lot of things. I used to ride dirt bikes. I used to race motocross actually. Only because of James Stewart. He's a retired supercross guy. I used to ride supercross. I used to snowboard a lot. I used to skateboard a lot. I used to do that. So I wouldn't say I didn't really think that I wanted to be a professional football player until I got to college, and I started, trying to figure out what my career was going to be. And that's definitely what I'm doing.
What was your favorite moment in the NFL?
Favorite moment in the NFL, definitely winning the Super Bowl in 2020. I mean, there's like nothing really compares. It's like, it's the top of the top, and like it makes everything that you go through, during the season, everything before that, it makes everything worth it. I would do that whole year over again 1,000 times because winning the Super Bowl is the best feeling ever. So that's for sure my best moment. Yeah.
What are you guys going to change from last season to this season to be the team you guys want?
I would say, like someone mentioned earlier, physicality, being the more physical team week in and week out, and just holding everybody accountable.
3 more questions.
We have a standard that we hold ourselves to. At work every day, so I start in the practice field and in the meetings. So just holding everybody to that standard, man. Holding everybody accountable, and we're all on the same page as a team. So.
All right, 4 more questions, guys.
I'm going to say my defensive line coach from college. His name is Tom Middleton. He now coaches at Alabama State. But he was the guy who kind of gave me the idea to come to the defensive side of the ball. So really without him, I don't know if I would be here because I would have never, ever thought to play defensive line, where I was at the time. So I shout out to him. I think that really his impact, his coaching, and what he did for me that last year in college really got me to my mind today. Shout out to him.
Got it back. Got it. Yep. What were your thoughts on the Dolphins defensive line
last year? They were really good. Obviously, there was some injuries, but I think that what we had and what we did, I think we did a great job. I think we did even better this year. Zach's back, got KG, Sheldon, JP are back, myself. Got a lot of young dogs in the interior. So I think that will be really good.
What's the hardest hit of your career?
The hardest hit of my career. The hardest hit of my career. I think the biggest hit I ever had was in college. We played at Rice University. The quarterback scrambled, tried to run the ball, and I came from the other side of the line and hit him straight shoulder. He was on the ground for like 30 seconds after that. I hit him hard. That was probably the biggest hit of my career.
Last question.
Just the last one?
Yep.
Mason
Thomas from SBC. So I know you played with the Eagles. How was it like playing for Coach Sirianni and the rest of the staff?
Oh man, it was only for a week, but it was really cool to see. Obviously that organization, history of winning. So being there, it was known as a short time, was amazing. I got to play one preseason game with them. Coach Sirianni was the best. I could just being there, even though it was for a short time, I could just tell, how they have their winning culture, the standard that an amazing organization. Obviously, you see the success that we have. So that was really good.
All right, give it a round of applause.